So guys, today is going to be the second drop spots video of the brand new Chapter 3 Season 3. In the last video, I covered the top 5 solo drops, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering the top 5 duo drops for this entire season. You guys have been asking me for this all over my social media accounts, and I'm finally here to deliver it to you guys today. So be sure to use code Sonata YT in the Fortnite item shop if you guys do want to support me. But let's hop right into this video. So to begin, the first best duo drop spot that I would recommend to you guys is definitely going to be the Mighty Monument Split. Now this can be found at the Foundation statue near the Sanctuary. This is going to be an area with the statue along the beach and along the other islands that you guys are going to want to split as a duo. This split is going to be having 10 chests, 4 slurp barrels, 3 coolers, 5 fishing spots, 4 boats, 3 rifts, materials from the trees, the rocks, and the metal buildings of the area, and then also 2 teams contesting you max in the area. Continually, a really important part of this drop spot is memorizing how to get the best possible drop for the area and also being able to handle third parties from the Sanctuary. Your off-spawn fighting almost needs to be perfect when you land here, and you cannot let anybody mess with you when you're landing at this location, especially if you're fighting someone and then another team intervenes. You need to learn how to win your off-spawn fights, how to rotate properly, and also how to disengage, of course. Once you master these 3 primary things for this off-spawn location, most definitely you're going to be winning and coming out of here a lot. Another really big benefit of this POI is that if you have landed here and nobody's really at Sanctuary fully looting it, you can go over to Sanctuary and continue looting that area. There's a lot of rotation areas from here, and you're going to have tons of things to rotate with. Like I said before, the rifts and the boats. Not to mention you're going to have a bunch of free slurp barrels, a bunch of free stuff here. It's really going to help you out if you guys try to land here as a duo. You're going to be able to maximize the amount of meds and the amount of mats that you carry. You're going to be able to save all of your rotation items for the later parts of the game. And overall, it's just going to be a good spot for you guys to land if you want to land somewhere slightly more low-key with a little bit less loot, but a place with a big payoff in terms of rotation and benefits in terms of map control. Now moving on to the next drop spot, this is going to be Washout Wharf. This is a POI that hasn't really changed much since last season except in terms of loot. Washout Wharf is definitely going to be having around 16 chests, 5 fishing holes, 2 boats. Also, rifts are going to be nearby on the mountain up above. On top of that, there's going to be materials from the trees, the rocks, and the metal buildings, and a maximum of 2 teams contesting you in the area. Similarly to the Mighty Monument Split. The real benefit of this POI is that it's really uncontested. You're not going to be that con when you're landing here, and it's going to be a big benefit for those of you trying to land somewhere low-key that not too many people are going to contest you at. However, like I said before, you're going to be getting interfered with from people coming from Sleepy Sound and the 7 Outposts. Players from there are definitely going to try to third-party you, W-key you, do anything they can in order to rack up your eliminations, and you just need to make sure that that doesn't happen. There's a multitude of ways that you can prevent this, such as early rotating, looting quicker, trying to fight them off, get your off-spawn fighting better. Pretty much anything that you want to do, you need to make sure that it does have a part of it which consists to staying alive during the early game. However, in terms of loot, this drop spot is absolutely fantastic. You're going to be getting tons of chests from this area, and even though it hasn't gotten that updated since the new season, it's still a great spot to be. You're going to be close to Logjam where you can get a lot of wood from, and tons of other POIs where you can get tons of other mats from. Not to mention you can go in there to loot any remaining excess loot. Like I said, there are going to be rifts and boats nearby, and there also may be some cars at the IO areas that are nearby. But this is just a great drop spot for those of you that want to land somewhere a bit more low-key, so be sure to check it out. Now the next drop spot is going to be known as the Depot and Fungi Farm Split. Now Fungi Farm was a solo drop spot that I included in my solo video. However, for duos, you can pair this with the Dusty Depot building that's in the new part of the map, and then make it a split that you land at with your duo. This split is going to be having 20 chests, 6 slurp barrels, 1 freezer, 6 fishing spots, 1 boat for rotation. There's also going to be cars nearby in Greasy that you can use to rotate. On top of that, there's going to be materials from the trees, rocks, and metal slurp barrels and buildings like the Dust Depot building. And then there's going to be 3 teams contesting you maximum in the area. Now, the only slight issue with this split is that it is a very wide split, so you do need to know how to cover a lot of ground as 2 players. If you are contested, you need to know how to play together and win the off-spawn fights. But other than that, this is by far the most beneficial drop spot in terms of the amount of different things that you get here. You're going to have a variety of slurp barrels, chests, freezers, fishing spots. Literally anything you need, you can get it at this drop spot, and then rotate without fail. Rotating from this POI really isn't that difficult, and people make it a lot more complicated than it actually is. You also have the river system to your advantage, which you can use to float into the middle of the map. That's going to help you out a lot in terms of early game rotation. But in my opinion, one of the best benefits of this drop spot is just naturally having the ability to get as much loot as you can in the variety of loot that you get. I would recommend it to anybody that wants to land somewhere slightly less contested, however, a place that has a lot of mats and a lot of loot. This is going to be a new place, so it will be more contested than usual. However, it's still very powerful in terms of the amount of loot that it actually possesses. Now continuing on, the 4th best drop spot that I would recommend to you guys is the lake and Synapse Station split. Now this split can be found near the desert area right next to the new biome. It's going to be having 25 chests, 4 coolers, 1 vending machine, 1 freezer. Also going to be having 6 fishing spots, 2 boats, and cars nearby in Synapse Station. And then lastly, it's going to have 3 rifts for rotation, which is really beneficial. And then a maximum of 4 teams contesting you in the area. Now this poses a massive benefit to pretty much anybody trying to land here. The biggest benefit is also once again the amount of variety of loot that you have. You're going to have so many coolers which you can get all of your meds from, not to mention the rifts and the boats to rotate with, and fishing spots. Fishing is something honestly not too many people use nowadays. However, you should abuse the crap out of fishing. It is so important. And even though there is a high risk of around 4 teams contesting you in the area, it's still important that you try to land here and come out with the best amount of loot that you can. I think the benefit of this drop spot is that it's not in the new biome, however it's right next to it, so the majority of people are going to be going to the new biome rather than trying to land directly on you. However, what you do need to of course watch out for is people trying to third party you and W key you from Synapse Station. A benefit is that you have the river right next to you that you can use to quickly rotate out with. That's a massive benefit that you have, but also not to mention that you're definitely going to have max mats once you leave. There's tons of metal at this POI. They've added so many new things that add tons of brick as well. So I would recommend the Lake and Synapse Station split to anybody who's looking to be fully prepared for the endgame as soon as they leave their POI. It's a great one. I'm probably going to be landing here if I do plays duos this season. And I would recommend everybody who wants to land a solid good POI lands here as well. Now, as you guys know, I always like to end it off with an actual named location. And today's named location is going to be Greasy Grove. Now, Greasy Grove was updated with the new biome update. Greasy's pretty much right in the middle of the new biome, and I think it's a good POI because it has less chests, which means that there's not going to be as much player congestion, but it also has a lot more new things like slurp barrels, vending machines, freezers. There's also definitely going to be cars and boats in the river nearby, not to mention the fishing spots that can be found there as well. So to run down the list of everything in this POI, there's going to be 30 chests, 4 slurp barrels, 1 vending machine, 1 freezer. There's also going to be 2 fishing spots in the river nearby, not to mention the boat there as well, and then also the cars in the area. And in terms of how many people are going to be contesting you, there's probably going to be a max of around 5 teams contesting you. That's around 10 players out of the 100 in the game, which is pretty realistic for how many teams on average are going to be contesting you. So you need to very much learn how to play in a congested POI. That's one of the harder parts of landing here, but you definitely need to master it and understand exactly how it works. That is how you absolutely crush your early game, by landing at Greasy Grove. Last season, this POI was one of the best on the entire map, and this season it can be so again if it's used in the correct way. So for anybody looking to land an actual named location, get really good at off-spawn fighting, and understand how to play a stacked POI, you should consider landing Greasy Grove for Chapter 3 Season 3. And let me know how it goes in the comments, guys. Any of these drop spots are really applicable, and just tell me. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, guys, that is the video on the top 5 duo drop spots of Chapter 3 Season 3. If you guys did enjoy, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel down below. Thank you guys so much for the support on the channel recently. It has been spiking up since the new season started, and I will not be stopping. A bunch of content will be coming out for you guys for the rest of the season, especially as summer begins now. I'm definitely going to be producing a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.